Well, good evening. It's yet another emergency Ironcast because, again, we don't have this show locked down on a schedule. So we just kind of fill it out and go by the news cycle. And it's been a pretty eventful week. A lot happened today. So figured we'd take about an hour or two, kind of go over some of the things from yesterday and today and get everybody's thoughts on it. I'm joined by my co-host this evening, Theo Snodgrass. What's going on, Theo? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I put the bun a little bit higher on my head today. So that's the most important thing that's happened to me today. What about you? Is anything else going on? I haven't heard.
Well, let's go back to this bun thing. So why that being elevated?
Oh,
What
well, I don't.
exactly?
Well, here's the thing. If you have your man bun in the wrong position, people will think you're a hippie. So this one is right-wing coded.
Okay.
I want
Okay.
them to draw the right conclusions about me.
Which one makes them think that you're gay?
Oh, that's
High,
the
low, or
that's all of them actually.
just all
That's
of them? Okay.
that's all of them. That's
Kind of what I figured.
right.
All right, man. But hey, that's cool, man. Man, brought
Yeah.
it up. I'm not here to discriminate. So so we'll go ahead and get into it. Yesterday was it yesterday with the press conference where all of the now this is following the release of the files. We talked about that a little while ago, and now we've got the victims doing the press conference. They're doing the media tour, is what it
Yeah.
seems like. Okay. Um, let's see what I can find on that and kind of get some thoughts. So this is
So
I think this is the most viral moment from it. So we'll pull that up first and kind of react. So while I get that pulled up here. See if we got
yeah.
anybody in the chat just yet. Not seen anybody yet. I'm sure we'll have a few stragglers come in later.
Yeah, I'm sure that these all of these people were legitimately victimized by Jeffrey Epstein, but it seems like a really opportunistic by the media to just
I'm starting to get that. And the media's change in their tone when it comes to this Epstein thing. A lot of people have had a sudden change of tone in their actual amount of shits given when it comes to this whole topic. And for the last 4 years, it seems like it was everybody, all of the
yeah.
plebs just screaming from the streets, like fucking Epstein didn't kill himself, release the list, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And nobody paid any attention.
No, it was a right-wing conspiracy theory, I thought.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
And now it's the most important story, and it's like a travesty that Trump won't release the
Right.
Epstein list.
And because it's 100% on Trump. There's literally every main headline you see. If you're scrolling, if you just type in Epstein files, anything, every single main picture on an article is going to have either Trump's face or the word Trump in it. They have linked him to, embedded him into this story 100%. And it's
Yeah.
almost like these are who Epstein, who? No, this is the Trump files, because this was
Yeah.
all Trump was the mastermind behind this whole thing, apparently.
Well, so they told us like we're gonna release all the names. We're gonna release a whole bunch of new names, and they said okay. And so it's like, well, and people have been asking, okay, why aren't you saying the names right now? And it's like, well, because
Yeah.
we don't want to be sued. We don't want to be sued for defamation. Oh, fair enough. Okay, so we're waiting until they can say it in Congress where they've got some protection from being sued for defamation. Okay, fair enough. But they are saying one name over and over and over and over again, including in this young lady's speech. She says Trump's name over and over and over again. That's the name they keep showing. They keep cutting to photos of
This
Trump
is the
looking
clip.
ominous.
So let's go ahead and play this real quick. I'm sure everybody's seen it, but let's take a quick look.
Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually. And what I endured will haunt me forever. I live every day with PTSD. I live as a mother trying to raise my child while distrusting a world that has betrayed me. This kind of trauma never leaves you. It breaks families apart. It shapes the way we see every. Epstein herself.
Okay, again, she really kind of oversold it there. She said, even our current president, Donald Trump. Well, oh wait, especially Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. It just looks like it just really looks like that at the very least the media is taking advantage of this as an opportunity to just stick it to Trump, and the Democrats are taking it as an opportunity to stick it to Trump, and the Republicans who don't like Trump are taking it as an opportunity to stick it to Trump. And even today the media was like, well, there's so many women in the Republican Party who are turning on him. Is this because Trump has a problem with women? Is this a gender divide within the GOP?
Right.
Is this what's happening? Are the men too cowardly to stand up to Trump? And it's like, oh, okay, you guys are cockroaches, just cockroach people.
Yeah. It's all back to Trump. Like, as long, I don't think the people on the other side, they could give a shit if the list comes out or not, as long as this looks bad for Trump. That's all that's their prime objective here.
Like,
I haven't seen this clip.
Oh, go ahead.
But go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the Democrats are looking ahead to the midterms. And so they're trying to, they're just like, and also Trump is going to be out of power soon. So I think a lot of the Republicans, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, is trying to position herself to be in a good position once the chips fall. And she's betting that Trump is going to leave office on bad terms. So she's like, okay, where am I going to be after Trump is gone? So this is a political calculation by her.
And Marjorie Taylor Greene, let's remember, she was the one backing what's his face when he was Speaker of the House, who was constantly fucking things up and they were trying to, they kept trying to get him out. She was the cheerleader in the corner keeping that. What the fuck was his name? I'm blanking on it. The former speaker before Mike Johnson, the one who kept getting kicked out. But anyway, he was just terrible and he was clearly not America first, but Marjorie Taylor Greene would constantly had that guy's back no matter what. And so I don't know. I've always kind of got the ick from her. So now I don't get the ick from Anna Paulina Luna, but I haven't seen this clip, so I don't know what we're in for here.
Right now? The biggest thing that stands out to me is the victims themselves have stated that this is a lot bigger than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also following up on that. There's some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. But it is very much so a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset working for our adversaries. But also, too, I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it? And so there's more to follow, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the chairman momentarily. But I do applaud the victims from coming forward, because we heard from a woman who was as young as 14 years old when she was victimized multiple times by Jeffrey Epstein. So that's hard to hear.
Will you sign the discharge petition, the massive discharge petition?
I think that the files will probably be released prior. I don't know why Comer hasn't. I think that he should do it, so it wouldn't even have to come to a vote. But, I mean, obviously I've been a huge advocate, even when I was the only one in Congress calling for the release of those files. So I think I'd be happy to, yes. Thank you.
What do they call for the victims if they want those files released?
The victims want information to be out there, but they don't want their personal information, I think, for good reason to be out there. So I think from the get-go, But
they just did a big fucking press conference where they all talk.
Yeah, they did.
So at this point, it keeps going back to that. Well, we have to make sure that we protect the victims and their information.
No one cares about protecting the victims. You could even hear that in the way she's talking about it. This is a calculated political move. She's like, "Hey, remember when I was the one? Remember when this was about me?"
Right.
I feel like you guys are forgetting to make this about me. And so I'm going to show you how upset I am and how important it is that we hold powerful people accountable. And I'm the one leading the charge on that, because this is about me and my political ambitions. And I'm only going to be this hot for so long I want to get as much political power out of that as I possibly can. This is why women shouldn't be anywhere near government. Burqa. Keep her at
There we
home. Touch grass with Theo Snodgrass.
Right.
Attorney General has stated that there's victim information that you have to make sure that's private, being that some of the victims also too are as young as 14. That's child.
Okay. Yeah.
They're not 14 now.
Yeah.
They're like 40.
Yeah, they're all in their 40s. Even the ones that were 14. Yeah.
But it doesn't.
So-
Now that we've seen the victims, it actually fucks with the optics a little bit. It was better for the optics when we would imagine them as, because the imaginary victims are more pathetic than the actual victims. The actual victims are kind of shrill and annoying, and now that we know that, it's like hard to feel bad for them. But when we could imagine them, it was like suffering children, all this stuff. But now it's like no. To me, it's just transparent that. Lawmakers are now each individually playing their own power games, and they've formed this temporary, convenient coalition to go after Trump. Yeah. So it's like this isn't about the right. No, because you know how I know it's not about protecting the rights of the victims or getting justice from people in power or any of the things that they're saying it's about, because that's what they're saying it's about. So I know that's not it. I know what you're telling me is a lie. There's another reason you're doing this. And that makes me physically ill, because the thing they're pretending to care about is the thing that I actually care about. And they're pretending to care about that so they can...
Well, that's the game they play, man. That is... I don't think that they ever even intended to let it get this far. It was just a nice thing to run on and to talk about and to stir everybody up and say, yeah, this is what I'm for. I'm against that thing you're against. That's terrible. We shouldn't let that thing happen. We'll expose the truth about that thing once I'm here. I'm here now. Now let's not talk about the thing anymore. We got other things to talk about. Let's just move on from that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You still care about that thing? What?
Crazy? You sound crazy right now. This is all downstream of unforced errors by Trump. Like, Trump did not have to make it that easy for them to dunk on him like that. He didn't have to. Like, he could have just... Like what Epstein files? What? What are you, this Epstein guy? He's been dead for years. What are you talking about? What Epstein? That can't be... That can't... That... Bro, no. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. That's a crazy... It's crazy that he thought he could just walk away from that. And, I think he underestimated how important that was to his voter base. And he was crushing it on so many other policy objectives that he said he was going to do. And right before this, he took out a Venezuelan drug cartel boat with a drone strike, which is fucking sick. Objectively, like, Chad move.
Love everything about that.
Love that.
Hey, and, I've heard the debate, like, well, what if it was just cocaine? It was something, what if it was...
I don't care if it was people.
Yeah. The point is that the cartels have been labeled a terrorist organization, a foreign terrorist group. They got where they shouldn't be, so they got put down.
Yeah. I don't care. I honestly, at this point, I don't care. Like, there's no level of force that I think would be an inappropriate level of retaliation for these people.
No.
These are a threat because it's a threat to our national security. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
you can love cocaine as much as you want. I used to as well. But that shouldn't blind you to the fact of what the cartels are.
You know what? If you're a real patriot, you'll use cocaine that's made right here in the U.S. of A.
Right.
That's right. We want American cocaine made by American cocaine growers. That's what we want. We should run on that.
Hey, that's probably a winning ticket for a lot of people. I'm just gonna say. Now back to this. I thought this was a great tweet. Matt Walsh either has some bangers when he stays in his fucking lane.
Yeah.
When he stays in his lane, he's great. And this was one of the good ones. So this is in reference to why they're not giving the list of names now. If they're just saying names, they're saying Trump left and right.
Yeah.
Then why not just say him? And this is in response to this chick's tweet, and she says, there I should have had you do that girly voice you do, but never mind, you don't have it pulled up. They are probably terrified that they'll be murdered, and maybe they want to alert other victims so that they can come forward and help. Now here we go. Matt Walsh, this is a banger. They're terrified that they'll be murdered, so their strategy is to appear on camera and announce that they're compiling a list for some future release date. And now this is a list of some of the most powerful, rich, deeply connected people in the world. And if they were actually afraid for their lives, that would be the absolute worst approach manageable. That's what I think. I think that the victims would have a lot more credibility if we never saw any of their faces.
Yeah.
They did nothing but affidavits, completely signed off on legal, and then they could compile that list and they could make sure that they got all the safeguards in place, and that could have been released. This just seemed very theatrical, and it feels like it's all the timing of everything is also suspect. It's like, what are we, we got. All right. Let me go ahead and see what else we got here. Let me say hi to the chat real quick, see who we got in here. Kind of a slow night. We got Wayfair. Like the stream, nerds. Thank you. We like you as well. Who else we got? And we got Scream Queen Selena. It is a slow night. Last Thursday was rocking, so we'll see. Let me see what else we got here. Get it all pulled up. Give me just a second. So, hold on. I lost my tab.
That's all right. Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead and riff for
I don't know, dude. I just, to me, this looks, especially if you look at the way the legacy media has been treating the victims. It's been, let's give them a chance to tell their story. But none of them are telling the part of the story where other people besides Donald Trump are implicated. All of them are just like Jeffrey Epstein was terrible. He was a manipulator. He was a narcissist. He was wow, just like your ex-boyfriend, sweetheart. Just like you at home. You at home, sweetheart, who's watching this. We want you to tug on those heartstrings. We want you to feel emotions. And then when we get you to feel a bunch of negative emotions, then we're going to cut to a picture of Donald Trump looking ominous. All of this is Donald Trump's fault. Why won't Donald Trump release the documents? Is Donald Trump in the documents? Did Donald Trump do anything? Is Donald Trump the actual perpetrator? They probably said, I guarantee if you look at that broadcast, they probably said Donald Trump as much or more than they said Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, more. I would say just as not much, if not more.
That's intentional. Every single word of that copy is intentional. So they're putting that out there because they want to influence the way that you think about this. And what I think they're trying to do is get all of that negative emotion and all of that anger and all of that sadness pointed at Trump. And by the way, they're exploiting these victims. I don't put too much culpability on the victim. I think a lot of the people, the victims, especially some of the more soft-spoken ones, are trying to get justice for the bad things that happen to them, and they literally don't know what other option they have at this point. So right. I think a lot of them thought when Trump got in, they were going to get it. And now they're starting to look like they haven't. So I think maybe some of this... Here's the thing. Part of this is it's hard to feel bad for Trump right now because he definitely earned this with the way he handled it. Like, I was disappointed. Everybody was disappointed in him for the way that he handled it. Yeah. And now those chickens are coming home to roost. Like, I think he thought that was just going to go away. And then somebody decided they were going to do this press conference with the victims and maybe put a thumb on the scale. And a lot of these... Again, and a lot of these Republican women are kind of forming like a feminist alliance around this issue, which was, by the way, always inevitable. That was going to happen. That was going to result in a coup at some point. So that's not terribly surprising, but it's what I don't like is that it's a lot of emotional manipulation. I'm not hearing a lot of facts. I'm not hearing a lot of new evidence. I'm not hearing a lot of names.
That's the thing. we haven't gotten any new information. This is all the same shit, but Donald Trump. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, hey, remember that this is all Trump's fault? And it's like, okay, fair enough. Like, obviously, if Trump is responsible, whatever he's responsible for, he should have to face accountability for. But like, there's no new evidence. There's no new information. It's just new. Hey, remember that this was bad and it happened and you were feeling emotions about it. Now point those emotions at Trump. By the way, we're starting to campaign for the midterms already. Yeah. And dude, there was a shooting like 2 weeks ago. And we already stopped talking about it.
Not even talking about it.
We did. That was now, like 2 or 3 Ironcasts ago that we were talking about that. And it's over now.
Now, there is one thing that kind of came from that. I would like to get into that tonight if we can, because there's not really much else as far as this goes to talk about. But did you hear about the proposal for the trans gun ban?
Yes.
Well, now.
Yeah. 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 Now that's going to be very interesting. So, so this is the way the way I see this playing out is if trans is a regular protected minority group, then you can't stop them from having guns. But if it is a group of it's a classification of mentally ill people, then you can stop them from having guns. And it's just that simple. And we're going to find out in court which it is.
Which is which.
We're going to have to. If this is going to go through, because it is going to be challenged. And what we're going to see, I'm hoping we see this, we're going to see leftists suing using the Second Amendment and the 14th Amendment to say that this is unconstitutional.
And that's what makes this play so brilliant, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're having to expose the facts. So is to have the discussions about trans being either a mental disorder or a protected identity class, and then how are you going to argue for, well, we want trans people to have guns, but what about everybody else? No. Wait.
Right. This is 4D chess. I'm interested to see how this plays out. I really am. I don't know how this is going to work, but
I think it's going to work very well. It's definitely going to ruffle a lot of feathers, but it's the feathers you want ruffled, like the good ones. So, yeah. But here it is. I found what I wanted to bring up. Now, this is one of the more interesting parts about this whole thing. So, the entire Epstein survivor press conference today was just delegitimized. Okay, now that's an opinion of MJ Truth Ultra, but he's going to make some good points here. Look at who they are working with. Attorney Gloria Allred spoke alongside the same exact survivors Massey had up. So Gloria Allred's daughter, Lisa Bloom, literally offered money to women to falsely accuse Donald Trump of sexual assault between 2016 and 2017. That is 100% fact. That's confirmed. According to The Hill, Lisa Bloom arranged financial support such as paying off mortgage and offering up to $750,000 for women considering public accusations against Trump during the 2016 election. So now we're starting to kind of see where when he says it's a hoax, he means something other than just the whole thing is a hoax.
Yeah.
But he's not really.
They're going to say, like, and what's crazy is the way the media is framing it is they're framing it like, oh, well, he was the one. They were the one who, this is how they say it. They say,
which only means
the Trump administration were the ones who spread all these conspiracy theories about the Epstein files. And now he's saying it's a hoax. How could it be a hoax? The victims are real. And even if it were a conspiracy theory, it was a conspiracy theory that your administration propagated. So how would so they're kind of trying to play it out of both sides to try to just, no matter what Trump, they're discrediting Trump. No matter where you try to go with it, Trump is discredited. So now, of course, Gloria Allred is famous for going after powerful men, including Donald Trump. She's gone after Donald Trump before, so this is not even new.
If I'm not mistaken, she had her hands in the E. Jean Carroll thing, at least to a point. But let's hear what she had to say here.
Was that justice? No! We're overdue for justice. We're not going to be waiting for justice. We are fighting for justice. And let me tell you, no more talk of the word pedophiles, which only means a man who is attracted to children. We're not talking about pedophiles.
What about all the female teachers that are sleeping with their with their students?
That's not convenient.
There's a lot of them.
That's not convenient.
We're talking about sexual predators and child molesters. Let's get the word in about what the crime was that they committed.
Where was she for this whole time? Where were any of these people this whole time? We're not even a year into Trump, and this shit's going wild. We had 4 years of Biden, crickets. Oh, the Ashley Biden, is she going to start advocating for Ashley Biden and the diary and the daddy showers?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
Are any of them going to bring up Bill Clinton during any of this, or Bill Gates, or any of the other known allies on their side? No.
Because that's not what it's for. No. Right? This is a power play. So they're not going to do anything that's going to hurt Democrats. They're gonna try to get Trump out. So this is not, by the way, that's also important. This is not about helping victims. They don't give a shit about that. Not really.
And
but where we can find agreement, we do. And the reason that I will have to tell you that I respect Thomas Massie. Clearly, we don't agree on a lot, but where we can find agreement, we do. And the reason that I respect him is because he.
Do you think it's about this Epstein stuff, or their agreement is they both don't like Trump?
I think that's what I think this is all of Trump's enemies forming a coalition.
And this is who else would you see form a coalition but the old school establishment Republicans and the Democrats?
Yeah.
Try to get the power back away from Trump. That includes Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like I just said, she went to bat for that last piece of shit Speaker of the House.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's looking down the road and she's trying to plan what her next career move is. Yeah. And I think she's placed the bet that now is the time to break away from Trump before that ship completely sinks. Now, and unfortunately, so if the Republicans were presenting a united front, this would be a lot easier for Trump to get through. But, and there are, to be fair, I think there are some people who genuinely want to get the Epstein list out. And there's probably some people involved who have a genuine desire to help people. But no, I think most of them are there to advance their own personal political agendas. Like anybody that's talking to a camera right now is there to advance their own personal political agenda. I don't think anybody's offering genuine support to the victims.
Not at all. Now let's see here. Let's go ahead. We could probably pivot off that. I don't know if we got anything else. I'm more interested in this trans gun ban. So let me see if I can find anything on that.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I can't wait to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that was definitely. I was not expecting that. It's a ballsy move. So that's why it surprises me so much.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it plays out. What is gonna happen with that? I'm very interested. I'm psyched to see it. It's tricky how they're, like we were saying earlier, it's tricky how they're gonna have to argue that. So is this her talking about it?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's hear this. I haven't seen this yet.
I've seen a lot of calls for action, among these lawmakers saying that we shouldn't just be praying. One that I've seen on the right, actually, is calls for the FBI to institute a new class of domestic terrorism that involves trans ideology. Is that something that the administration would support?
I would have to check with the appropriate people on that.
And it appears that White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt did check in with the White House on that, because last week you just heard that senior reporter from the Daily Wire asking whether trans ideology should receive a terror designation. And it looked.
The thing is, yes, it absolutely should. Yeah.
Looks like now the White House is considering maybe banning trans people from being able to obtain guns, which makes me wonder. Cenk.
She seems so hurt by that even the thought of it. Just appalled.
Yeah.
I love how they're always so appalled by everything.
Yeah.
just oh.
How exactly would that work, right? When you have, let's say, transgender individuals like Blair White, who's very convincing. Okay, are you going to do a genital test? Anyway, so here's what we know. Mary Margaret Olohan, who is the very reporter that you saw in that video, just reported today. Breaking, the Justice Department is deliberating banning guns for transgenders as part of a range of options blocking mentally unstable individuals from committing acts of violence.
And there it is. It's like you said, man, it's about opening the door for the conversation that they have been unwilling to have for so long.
Yeah.
So I'm here for it. I can't. It's going to be entertaining if nothing else.
So, yeah, I think we all know deep down inside that this is not just like a regular civil rights designation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is something else. I think we all know that something. As soon as they made the rule that you just are whatever you say you are, and you could just say you're a woman and not look like a woman at all.
Right.
And
but automatically be allowed to enter women's only spaces with impunity.
Yeah, and then the women were like, "Oh, this is making me uncomfortable," and we were like, "Shut up, bigot."
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
No way. Again, because they only move forward emotionally and don't think about anything in the long term. Like, how could this end badly for everybody?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Who cares?
No. It's like, it's like, you know, God forbid we hurt a trans person's feelings for 2 seconds, and they're like, it's never happened. It's never gonna happen that a trans person is gonna go into a locker room and molest someone. In fact, you're a pervert for even thinking of that.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They're like, you're weird for thinking of that. Why are you so obsessed with people's genitals? That's so weird. That's so weird because I don't want penises in the women's locker room. That's it.
Right.
And by the way, that's what everyone wanted. That's how everyone felt 10 years ago. Everyone agreed with that. No one thought that was a bad idea.
Until they did.
And now.
But I like what you just said there. So they always do that. Well, no, why are you always thinking about sex? Why do you care about that? It was like there was one viral clip from years ago, and this one always got under my skin. It was where this guy was trying to make a very rational explanation to a group of people about why the hormones that they're putting these kids on is terrible and affects the whole rest of their lives. It destroys their lives. And one of the points he brought up is that for both the boys and girls, it ruins their chances of having a normal, productive, healthy sex life when they reach maturity. And this young girl is just like, why you care about kids' sex, bro? Are you thinking about kids with sex, bro? Why you think about that? Not everybody needs sex. That's just you. You got a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and they'll do that. You could just be a totally normal person and raise a totally normal, rational objection, and they'll be like, "Wow, you're weird." Wow. And so this, by the way, this happens with everything the leftists want to do that breaks down a boundary or that is some like bizarre alternative lifestyle. This is the same thing. If you criticize polyamory, they'll say the same thing. Why are you so concerned with what other people are doing with their genitals? That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's not it, or if you say gay couples shouldn't adopt, they'll say the same thing. They'll be like, you have just a perverted mind. What's wrong with love? Mm-hmm. Love is love. Why can't we just let families be families? You have a problem.
Yeah,
what's going on in your house that you were thinking that. You know, and then it ends up being right every single time.
Every fucking time.
Every single time, exactly the thing we said was going to happen happens. And they're like, oh, well, that thing that never happened again. That's
going down the list from weird things happening in female-only bathrooms, locker rooms. Plenty.
Yeah.
A bunch of kids that were put on experimental drugs, reaching maturity and becoming fucked up people. Double check. And let's see, what was the last?
Yeah. Gay couples molesting their adopted kids. It happens. Wow. So all the things that we said that you told me, you swore to me, you swore up and down. This was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. And then all of it happened immediately. One right after the other. And they were like, that I was a weirdo for thinking it might happen. I was a weirdo for bringing it up. That's what's crazy to me. Yeah.
Well, let's see what else we got.
This is, I don't know. I'm excited about the watching that get litigated, because you're going to have left-wing people trying to defend the Second Amendment, and they're like, and of course they're I think the actual point here is that this isn't just a regular civil rights designation. Like, these people are mentally unbalanced and they're being pumped full of hormones.
Right.
You know, that's not good. This is not a good combination.
Before a long-term study could ever find out what the effects would be of putting somebody that young on that many hormones their body's not naturally supposed to produce. You know why it's never been done before? Because it's fucking horrible to even think about.
Yeah.
Like, let's just see what happens when we pump a kid full of chemicals. And
what was crazy is they told us it was mean to not do it.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be mean if you're like, wait, hold on, this seems really dangerous. Maybe we should take a beat and figure out if it's a good idea or not. Do a little research. And they were like, well, what do you want them to kill themselves? Is that what you want?
See, and they're not even when they say that, they're not talking about the kid. It's not like you'll be mean to that 8-year-old if you don't give him hormones. No, you'll be mean to the 40-something-year-old trans person over there that wants affirmation.
Yeah. Well, because
feelings are going to get hurt.
Well, because if
have to give the little boy the chemicals, because I couldn't get it when I was younger, and look at me now.
And if trans adults are real and it's a real thing and not just like them being a pervert, then there must also be such a thing as trans kids, logically. And there aren't. So when you say there are no trans kids, there's no such thing as a trans kid. It's not a real thing. Then it's one of those things. The old aphorism is a trans kid is like a vegan cat. It's not real. It's
there to make the adults in the room feel better about themselves.
Yeah, somebody's putting a thumb on the scale, and it's usually mom's idea. We have a clip.
It's always
that's always mom's idea. We have that clip. Oh, I wanted to break down that clip from that show of that mom who's getting her son transitioned, and like they're all like surrounded by all these female doctors. And,
let me see if I can find that.
Yeah, and you can tell like the way she just the way she hugs the child at the end. I wish we could show the clip. The way she hugs the child at the end, you can tell she's just like she's just like siphoning all of its just feeding on it like an energy vampire, because like she thrives when the child is in pain and she can offer the child comfort. That brings her, nothing brings her more joy in life than doing that. But it's all about her and her needs. Like, it's completely, the child's needs are not the thing that she's concerned about. It sets up this terrible relationship where and this is the dynamic that a lot of if you do some digging into a lot of these trans situations, that's the dynamic that's established. Yeah, by the way, this is in the case of the Minneapolis shooter, it is a little different dynamic from what I've heard. There's a little bit of information starting to come out about that, but it's still very, very surface level. But it looks like mom had serious misgivings about going along with it, but dad was really pushing it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, that's what it seems like outside looking in. Now, of course, we still got. I don't know if people are going to keep looking into that now that the news cycle has moved on. That's the thing.
That's the problem.
Is I want to know why this happened. If we were a serious, mature adult country that was capable of having difficult conversations, then we would be very interested in how this happened, so that we could prevent it from happening again.
I got to be 100% real with you. I care way more about that than I care about the press conference that we just watched.
Yeah, but that's women supporting women.
And that's where they lost me.
They just made it. It's like these are strong, empowered women supporting strong, empowered women who are strong and empowered and courageous. And this is women supporting women, and I'm like, okay, that you're lying to me. That's not what this is, because that's not real. So something else is going on here, because what you're saying it is not what it is. I know that, and that makes me mad. That makes me. Yeah, you fucked me on this too many times. So I'm not gonna believe you that you're going to show me the thing you said you're going to show me unless you show it to me.
The minute people on that side start really caring about something, I know something's up.
Yeah.
Like watching the whole RFK Jr. thing today. It's like they were selling me on being more of an anti-vaxxer than I've ever been in my life, just by how much they were drilling him that he's an anti-vax, not letting him finish sentences.
Yeah, because they just want they just want a TikTok clip of them owning RFK, because that's good for their base. I mean, TikTok has ruined a lot of things, stand-up comedy, talk shows, and now government and women. Yeah, fuck, dude, Jesus Christ, man. They're so garbage. For more on this, Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass, Saturdays, 11 a.m. We'll be back. I don't want to talk about that too much, but yeah, dude, TikTok's ruined everything, and now they're trying to get clips. That's the TikTokification of American politics. They're just trying to get clips of them dunking on RFK because that's good. And what's crazy is, they're scared to have a substantive discussion with him about serious issues, and they know they can get away with yelling over him because his voice is fucked up. So they know they can get away with it. And
the thing is, he got his bangers in, though. He really came out looking sharp during this whole thing. Plus the fact that he wasn't. A lot of times when they have those hearings, they'll kind of backpedal, like, well, are you calling this person who said this a liar? Well, I don't know what they said, but I know I didn't say that. And they would trip on themselves or this, that. Yeah. He's just like, yes, I'm calling her a liar.
Yeah.
If there were witnesses in the room, I never said any of that.
Yeah.
And when they would say, well, we've got all these medical professionals willing to say that you're crazy. He's like, well, I've got my own medical professionals, and I'll put them up against yours any day. It's like, oh, nice.
Yeah, but it's like they clearly don't want the smoke with him. That's what it is. They don't want the smoke. They don't actually want to have a substantive discussion with him about this stuff.
No.
And my theory is all of these people are, even the most left-wing people in the world, are being paid by the pharmaceutical industry.
Absolutely.
And honestly, the more government is involved in healthcare, the more the amount of money the pharmaceuticals make becomes unlimited. Because if the government is buying all the drugs, there's no ceiling on how much they can charge. It becomes money laundering at that point.
Yeah, which it's already is.
Yeah, and that's what, by the way, government being in bed with the pharmaceutical industry is how we had this problem to begin with. Because the pharmaceutical industry is making money hand over fist with the trans thing. And a big part of that is because health insurance has to pay for it, courtesy of Obamacare. And this is, oh my fuck, this clip. This clip. Jesus Christ.
So when they say we have to trust the medical professionals, he's talking about this ghoul right here. This fucking monster. So let's start this from the beginning. It's only about a minute and a second long.
Dr. Olson had a decision.
You are in the perfect place to start on blockers.
And she promises to begin giving her estrogen, female hormones, in 2 years.
Around 13. That's what I think. Yes, you're not going to.
It was a real tough decision for her. You can tell. Look at that. She really had to ponder that. God. Look at the eyes here.
Oh,
Jesus fucking Christ, man. No, this is more of a victim than these are the victims that are being overlooked, and we're going to have a fuck ton of them over the next 20 years, and it's not going to be good for anybody. But yeah, that's how long it took her to ponder. So should I turn this little boy into a permanent patient and milk him for all that we can get from the insurance companies? Yep. That's what I think.
Ain't I a stinker? That's fucking. Look at that.
That's what I think. Yes, you're not going to develop breast buds on the blockers, but you're not going to wait until 16 to start. You know that, okay?
Josie received the blockers as an implant in her arm.
It's okay if you cry.
So with all the bravery,
right? Okay, did you hear that? It's okay if you cry. Do you see what that is? Okay, so why is it okay if the child cries? Because that is what is going to cause that rush of good feelings in the mother. Oh, good, my child is suffering. That means I can farm this for attention. And I can offer comfort and like drain this child like an energy vampire to validate my own existence. Oh yes, this is gonna make me feel good. This is all about me. That's what this is a goblin person. This is a goblin person. This is what they're thinking. You got it. That's why, that's why they're not there. It's one of the most evil things that a person can do is nurture weakness in their child instead of strength. To set them up as a permanent victim. She's trying to set a permanent dependency on her, right? Because like permanently depending on me, you will never escape me. You're always going to need me. I am going to devour you, right? It's gross. Anyway, that's what that's about.
A little bit of Josie held on tight as another chapter opened in this young girl's life.
The news, they're so behind this. They keep affirming that this young girl, her girl, that's a little boy. Yeah. Yeah, there she is. She leaned in like a vampire with those kisses, didn't she? Just like
yes.
A lot of times it strikes me that had this happened just 20 years ago,
Thank you.
I wouldn't have been able to give her blockers, and she would have had to go through male puberty. That terrifies me. It's all done. Do you want to know how?
It terrifies her because you did. Then she would grow up to be a man, an awful, ugly, stinky man.
Yes, yes. And then what would she have done for attention?
Right.
Right. Oh man. This is right here.
That she would have survived.
Look at this. Oh, give it to me.
God.
Right into my veins. Oh, give me that human suffering. Oh, that's what I need. Don't clip that. don't clip that. That's not. Yeah, dude. Really gnarly. Really gnarly. And that's what we're not talking about when it comes to the trans kids discussion. It's a bunch of lonely kids who are not particularly well adjusted anyway. And they're weirdos and their moms are weirdos. And what we've done by questioning everything to do with gender is we put some very weird, impractical ideas in these kids' heads at a time in their life when they're very imaginative and they'll accept whatever. Their brains are basically pudding. You can tell a child anything. I told a couple of middle schoolers the other day that the Unabomber was right, and they just took it uncritically. I stand by that. I'm glad I did that. They're not being educated. Someone has to educate them.
For not even questioning. They're like, okay.
Yes. Fair enough. But someone has to educate the young people with history, and I take it upon myself to do whenever I can. The point is, they shouldn't have just accepted that uncritically from a guy with a man bun. They shouldn't have done that. That's on them. This is irresponsible parenting, if I'm being being totally honest. But kids, and then what they'll do is they'll take these kids when they're young and impressionable and their brains are made of pudding, and they'll just put these really destructive ideas in there that'll bump around. See, gender roles are restrictive. That's the biggest argument against gender roles, is that they're restrictive. But restrictions are actually good, because if you could do whatever you want, then you're going to kind of get overwhelmed by the amount of choices you have. It's actually good to narrow down your choices a bit.
Absolutely.
You know, that's helpful. That's helpful. And there are going to be people who don't fit into the boxes, and that's okay. We have places, we used to just have places where weirdos could go and hang out.
Yeah.
And that was fine. Like, you didn't have to fit in necessarily. You could go hang out where the weirdos hang out, and that was going to be fine.
Learn an instrument, start a band. You'll be successful.
If you're honestly, if you're a guy and you're a little bit
androgynous,
if you're a little bit androgynous, like, learn to play music, learn to do stand-up comedy, learn to act, go find something else other than, you may not be a football player / construction worker. You won't be any of the Village People, right? But you can be something. You can be something. There's something you can do to distinguish yourself that's going to be good for you, and that you're going to be fine. And it doesn't have to. Here's the thing. The other thing that fucks you up is when people get sucked into this trans thing, then gender becomes their whole personality. And then every conversation becomes about gender. And it wasn't before. They're interested in other things. This is why the fucking new Matrix movies sucked. This is why the new Dragon Age sucked, even though they're bringing back a lot of the same people to work on them. It's like, why do these suck now? It's like, because they got this virus in their head and they're obsessed with this very niche topic that is not relatable for most people. And it becomes because they're so obsessed with it, it's the only thing they can tell stories about. It's horrible. And so because of that makes it hard. You're basically setting yourself up in a situation where you're going to have a hard time relating to people the whole rest of your life. It's not a good situation. And what's crazy about it is, like, if you just wear a dress.
No, we've replaced having a personality and talent. Well, just be trans. Just
just do that.
Part of the LGBT club. Then that's all you need.
Yeah, and you will get treated as if you were special, and you will get validation as if you were talented.
Won't have to do a
damn thing. No, nothing. It's just free, easy, unearned social advantage, and you can always
learn a skill, be awesome. It's fuck that. Just be this.
No, just be trans, and then you never have to learn to regulate your emotions. You always get to be right. You can do whatever you want publicly. You can just scream at people and then claim to be a victim. You could shoot up a school and people online will defend you, which is crazy. Like it's crazy. It's just, if you want to just like completely decouple yourself from accountability, then pursue this course of action.
And
now, of course,
the sad thing is that is so appealing to so many people.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I need to cut you off.
No, that's right. Like, why? That's a good question. Why are there so many people that I'm not sure. I wonder if some of it is we've got a lot of people who are feeling socially isolated and disconnected right now. And one thing we know is that kids, generally speaking, do not become trans if they do not have cell phones. That's almost universally true. That's super, super, super rare.
Well,
before that, it's way more common with cell phones.
And when you look at the areas where there's the biggest flare up of the trans kids, it's, New York, LA.
Yeah.
These big metro left leaning areas where even areas that are just as populated don't have nearly the uptick. But their argument is, well, it's because the parents there are bigots.
No, no, that's not it. It's clearly this is a socially contracted virus. This is like a social contagion. It's jumping around from people, and people don't become this if they never get the idea, and the idea is spread by the phones, and then. I think it's really appealing, especially in a like middle school or high school, if you feel like you're not fitting in, especially if you feel like you might be gay or autistic or something that is going to make your life harder. Then it might just be like a way to go from being totally ostracized socially to instantly receiving a ton of social validation and being treated like you're awesome and everything, and everybody telling you how great you are all the time. Kids are very sensitive to that because especially if they've never tasted that before, if they could just flip their social circumstances.
And back when South Park wasn't lazy, it reminds me of the episode where Cartman decides to do that just so he gets his own bathroom, but then quickly realizes that it opens the doors for everything. He can do whatever he wants with impunity, and they just walk around doing this constantly.
Yes.
And people think, well, that's a cartoon. No, that's an actual kid.
Yeah, that's real life.
That's how real kids think. And not thinking about things in the long term. Also, kids like
Yes, we can't even really have it's not really the kids' fault at that point if they're not thinking about things in the long term. We used to know that kids had a hard time thinking about things in the long term, and that's why we didn't let them do certain stuff. That's why you don't let them get tattoos. What's so crazy is there are people who say that kids should be allowed to transition their gender, and that if you ask them, should kids be allowed to get tattoos, they'll say no.
Yes.
Same people.
Absolutely not.
Same people. That's crazy, right? It's like, the same people will have misgivings about whether or not even a kid can even pierce their ears. Yeah. And they'll be like, no, but you can trans them. And it's like, that's not consistent. That's not okay. So one thing that's definitely true, I think that if in order to buy into this, you have to just be completely disconnected from physical reality. Like you have to just like not be super connected to the physical world. If you have, what I'm amazed, I don't think because if you go to the gym, a lot, then you know people who use performance-enhancing drugs, so you know the kind of impact that hormones can have on the body, and it can radically change your behavior, radically change your personality, completely change your ability to regulate your emotions, and can destroy you physically if it's not handled correctly. Like, you know that. If you put hormones that are not native to your body into your body, horrible things can happen, you know? And if you do it for a long time, it's a matter of if, not when. I don't know if you guys noticed Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson recently got a lot smaller after he had a heart problem.
Wow. I know. And everybody's like, I wonder what happened to him. You do? I think we were talking about this last week. The steroids came up again, and and I've been around some juicers, and I've seen just regular like outbursts of roid rage, and it's like, okay, we're doing this again. Just bring our nachos. Like, all right, buddy, we're gonna get through this, I promise. But it's when you see the big guy just start crying for no reason. That's when you get real scared. Like, oh fuck,
yeah, dude.
Have you seen that?
Yeah,
it's like
dude.
They get mad, and then they just start going. Like tears coming down their swollen cheeks.
Dude. Yeah, dude. It's weird. It's weird to see. And you got to think like that's one of the reasons, like when people, especially this is when women transition to men, when they first start transitioning, they think they're experiencing trans joy because they're just getting testosterone injections. Like, bro, if I was getting testosterone injections, I'd feel fucking great.
Yeah.
Like it's like all of a sudden you go from all that anxiety that you would feel is replaced with like confidence, and you just want to fight and fuck everything, and all your fat stores shift around, and your muscles start getting bigger, and all that happens like that's just like front loaded all at once. Having never experienced that before. They didn't experience that gradually. They didn't grow up with that as like a natural part of their life. It's just like an immediate influx. And it's like, whoa, and they're like, oh, this is trans joy. It's like, nah, bro, that's testosterone. No. And here's the thing. They don't know how to handle the downstream of that. Because the nasty side of testosterone is that it makes you want to fight and fuck everything. And that creates problems.
Well, and that feeling of euphoria is one of the main reasons that a lot of juicers abuse the shit.
Dude.
Because I've known guys that fucking do the stacks just fine, no real side effects, but they know when to stop everything else. I'm not advocating for it. I've just seen both sides, but I've seen the worst too, and a lot of them, they get hooked on it like any other drug because it makes them feel really good, and then once it's not making them feel good, they start feeling edgy and combative and other things. So what's the mind of any addict gonna do? Well, I think the only way to fix this is to do more.
Right. And I think the trans people, I think what happens with a lot of these people, I suspect this is what's happening with Elliot Page or Ellen Page, whatever you want to say. Because
Hellhound's got a great point there. Yeah. Way to divide the race divide started not working, so they shoehorned that in. But go ahead. Yeah. Good old Elliot.
Elliot Page. Yeah, well, because here's what happened. This person, there aren't a lot of parts in Hollywood for 5'3" wispy, effeminate men. Right? There are a lot of parts for decent looking girls, but there's not a lot of parts for 5'3" wispy, effeminate, haggard looking men.
Yeah.
And that's so now every single conversation, I think at first it was this flood of validation and you're so great and you're a media hero and we're going to put your hot new ripped bod on the cover of magazines and all this stuff. But then all of a sudden the career opportunities dry up. And every single conversation you have from now on is going to be about being trans. Every single conversation from now on till you're dead is going to be about this one subject. And
that's it.
I think here's the thing, and they're in a position where they're like, okay, this isn't working. And then they have the point that it's that addict discussion. Do I admit I was wrong and change course, or do I double down? And I think so many of them are doubling down. You saw this in I hate to keep bringing it back to the Shooter's Manifesto, but homie was like, I wish I'd never done the trans thing, but I'd never brainwashed myself. I'm clearly not trans, but it's too late to turn back now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be super socially embarrassing to turn back.
Yeah, and that's why I like the ones that have deserve all the attention they're getting. And it I brought up Chloe Cole plenty of times. I think she's doing awesome work, kind of exposing that, and talk about getting shit from the loving, accepting community, right?
Yeah, dude.
She goes to speak at a college and they lock her in a fucking library and threaten to kill her. Great.
Yeah, very stunning and brave, very very inclusive, and wow, it's saying it's not okay. Cults are very accepting, right? Cults feel very accepting. They target the same kinds of people. So this is why this is a cult. It's like people who are social outcasts, people who are lost, people who are kind of like easily fooled. This is why I'm so irritated that they keep preying on autistic people, because this is very vulnerable to the way autistic people think. They're very vulnerable to this. And not only, they're also social outcasts, desperate for social acceptance, and also they're usually a little bit delayed in terms of their emotional maturity. So they're usually, a lot of them are academically doing very well, but emotionally behind their peers. So that's like a double whammy of social ostracism, right? And they're also like big category thinkers. So if you can, everything goes in its box. You can see this in this way autistic children divide their food up on plates. And so it's like they don't like the food touching. Everything goes in its category. This manifests in all sorts of different ways for different ones. Right? They like everything goes in its box, and categories are very important. And when something's in the wrong category, it bothers them, like viscerally, right? But then, so if you get in there and you say, actually, the category of gender is totally made up, and here's all these examples of ways in which this category is imperfect. Now, what they don't tell you is that every single category that has ever existed is imperfect. The category, okay, there are mammals who lay eggs. That doesn't mean we get rid of the whole category. That doesn't mean we say, fuck categorizing animals. A platypus is a dinosaur if you want it to be. That's not what we say. And that's what the gender thing is. That we've decided that, like, if this category is imperfect, then we just throw the whole thing out, and then you could just be whatever you want. And then once you do that, then you can be you'll believe whatever. You're just all in on wokeness because that's like a load bearing.
And like you said, it's like a cult, and 100% is. And what's the number one thing? Cults love taking you in, but what's the one thing they will never do is let you leave.
Yes.
Leaving a cult, your life's in danger. They go after you. You're going to be, if your family's still in there, you're never going to see them again. So many problems. And a lot of people even choose to just stay in the cult because it's just too hard to leave, even after they've woken up to it. I saw interviews with some of the survivors of Jonestown. That's why they stayed in so long, because they just didn't know how to safely get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And now we see this with detransitioners being targeted anytime they speak out. So now we're going to have a whole generation of screwed up autistic kids, most likely, that regret decisions, don't know what to do about it. So they're going to make probably some pretty horrific decisions. If we're just going to be honest about it, there could be a lot more bad stuff like this down the pipeline, unless somebody puts the fucking cap on it and really gets this shit straightened out fast.
What's crazy is the people who are trying to stop it are the people that are being labeled as bigots. Like, how dare you? How dare you try to stop us from mutilating children? It's like, well, I just think it's a bad idea. We probably shouldn't do it. It's like, that's evil. How dare you? How dare you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then they go into, like we were talking earlier, why? Oh, what? You think that? You really think that's evil? You think that's evil? Selling a trans child, they don't exist. That's evil. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, because, what's crazy is the way they frame it. Yeah, yikes. That's the big one. Well, the way they frame it is like, why are you denying trans kids life-saving healthcare? Yeah. That's what they frame it. Or the other way, they'll take it, because they went from denying them life-saving healthcare to you don't want trans people to exist to you want all trans people to die to you. It's a trans genocide, because if you deny trans people their life-saving healthcare, then they'll all, I guess,
But again, it's not because little Sally will off herself if you don't give her testosterone and cut her tits off. It's because 42-year-old Mark over here, who used to be known as Vanessa, might, or that's what Mark is saying. Or
yes, and they want desperately for you to believe
about validating
this,
the adults,
because in order for the adults to be a legitimate group, there must also be trans kids.
Yep.
That gives them more legitimacy, if that's true, or if they can demonstrate that that's true. That gives them more legitimacy. So it's not, and so the kids are collateral damage in this quest for them to have the social validation that they feel like they deserve. And this is how they've chosen. Remember, they had an opportunity, because a lot of these people who are transitioning later in life are in middle age. They had the opportunity at some point to earn skills, to start families, to have a validation from their community for other reasons. They had the opportunity to do that. They chose to go in a different direction. And some of them do have kids and do have families and choose to leave anyway to follow their perversion and their degeneracy.
Dude, do you remember just a few years ago we were applauding? They were making a whole sitcom based on some fucking middle-aged guy who yeets on his family to go fucking be a trans.
Yes.
You're supposed to be like, oh.
Yes. Stunning and brave. Wow. And then, so do you remember that guy who worked on the Mr. Beast show, Chris, who became a trans and just abandoned his wife and his children to go be a trans, and then it turned out he was into all kinds of sketchy shit with minors and all kinds of stuff? Yeah,
because of course it did.
Because of course he was. Because I'm gonna say, so this is something that's like not popular to say, but a lot of this stuff is downstream of like intense porn addiction.
It is.
Like
they're just intense perversion, if nothing else. A lot of it. How much of it is an identity or a fetish?
Yes. So they're trying to convince us it's an identity, right? Because if it's an identity, then we have to respect it. But I just don't buy it. Why are so many of them perverts?
Right.
What? And I'm not saying all, but I'm saying
they're like they're not even doing like the normal, like dressing up like Norman Bates, dressing up like his mom. And the mom was classy. Most of them are dressing up like, like teenage sluts.
Okay.
It's
well,
like,
let me ask you something.
42.
Let me ask you something. Because you have a wife. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So on a day-to-day basis, I feel like you have a pretty good finger on the pulse of how a normal woman dresses on a day-to-day basis, right? Yeah. Okay. We could agree. That's not what a normal trans woman. They dress like the women they used to jerk off to when they were men. It's always some super pornified goth chick or an anime girl.
Or
I want to be
really
anime
disturbing,
girls.
Or a young girl.
Yeah, dude. What is it?
A lot of them dress like little kids.
Why do they want to dress so young? What do you think is going on with that? That's super weird.
And I've seen this with the male to female trans as well. Like a lot of them, they just dress like 14-year-old Latino boys.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
And that's they get into that whole. It's very performative. None of them are just like, I'm gonna be me now. Now I'm talking like, yo, guys, look, what up? I'm gonna go play some Call of Duty.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so I really sad experience. So here's the thing. Like, when you're talking about these people in the abstract, it can be very frustrating. But when you meet them in real life, it can be very sad. Because when you meet an actual, like, trans man who's trying to gain acceptance amongst men, but they just have no idea how men socialize. They're just going based on they really don't know how
based on stereotypes, based on what they watched on TV and in movies.
Yes.
So it's all very acted. A lot of them are put just like, like my wife used to watch the RuPaul's Drag Race show, and all of those guys, they were all exaggerated, like stereotypes of women. None of them act like actual women. And at the time she watched it, they all knew they weren't.
Yes.
That was part of the shtick.
That's part of the deal. It's very sad because, like, you're not going to get there. You're just not going to get.
No.
You're not. Oh my God. It's
now they're being sold a fake, it's basically it's a false promise. It's not going to happen. I remember, I guess that's showing my age, but the big thing when I was a kid was self-acceptance and, accepting who you are and making the most of what you have.
Yeah. And I fucking hate this. I fucking hate this because I hate this idea that God makes mistakes and he fucked up. There's a mix up at the factory and we got to fix it with like Frankenstein surgery. We got to like Frankenstein this shit together because God fucked up. It's like, no, God made you the way you are on purpose. And there's a reason why you are the way that you are. And you're supposed to do something with the way that you are. And you should be really psyched about the way that you are because you're that way on purpose. And that is nice. I don't know. I know it's very popular to think that people are accidents of evolution now. But, I don't know. I like to think the idea, everybody's the way they are on purpose.
And this kind of reminded me of something saying that just a few years back when people were talking about figuring out ways to prevent blindness or certain disabilities from ever happening, naturally, a lot of liberals and activists got out there pro disability, like you're going to erase the identity of the blind community. It's like, but then at the same time, they're for this shit. So it's very conflicting points of view.
Yeah. And it's what's crazy is like if we could these are the same people that think that we should prevent disabilities in utero if we could. It's the same people, by the way, who say that we should abort people with Down syndrome so that we don't have to deal with them anymore because they're a burden on society. These people, if you say, well, shouldn't we, if we could successfully divert people away from being trans, since that is a life of suffering and there's so much suffering, and you say suffering is the worst thing ever. It's a life of suffering and being discriminated against and victimhood. Shouldn't we steer people away from that if we can? Shouldn't we try to eliminate this if we can?
No.
They're like,
you answered your own question.
Dare you?
Because actually, a life of oppression and victimhood is the best thing ever.
Right. That's the way to get the most power in their worldview. And that's what they're not being honest about. They're like, I am such a victim. I'm so oppressed. It's so bad to be me. But that's like straight into their veins.
Dude,
that's
they're getting a fucking dopamine rush every time that they think that they're slighted at all. Like, I think I was just misgendered. Oh.
Yes, and they love it. That's any opportunity they have to socially enforce these weird rules, they'll jump all over it. And it's awesome. Like, it's crazy because they'll do it against like well-meaning people. This guy, who's the guy who does it at Disneyland, who was like taking photos in the bathroom at Disneyland? Like that.
Yeah, that guy.
He'll literally do it to like wait staff that speak Spanish as their first language and have no fucking idea what he's talking about.
What's going on?
Because they're not, they don't know about that discourse. They don't know what's going on. They have no fucking idea. So it's like, okay, well, they're just trying to do their job. They're just trying to, here's your chicken tenders, sir. Like, that's it. That's what they're trying to do. They're not.
Right. So the same guy will be like, fire that gentleman for misgendering him, but don't you dare deport him.
I'm here for you, sir.
That's crazy. It's great because you can't. That's the problem with this like weird like oppression coalition that the left has stitched together. Is some of these groups are not compatible. Like the Queers for Palestine is obviously the funniest example, probably. Or the fact that they imported all these guys from Latin America and they get here and they're kind of like macho and they like traditional gender roles and they're trying to be like, well, wait, hold on. We imported you because we wanted you to vote for gay stuff. And they're like, no, thanks. We don't like that. We don't really do that here. So yeah, no, thanks. Stupid. Yeah, so. But it's crazy because the left accuses everyone else of being stupid and racist, but they're actually stupid and racist. That's actually what they are.
So, yeah, I had to bring that up. That pretty much sums up what we're talking about 100%.
Crazy.
So, let me see here. I think before we end, I did find the only video I could find on the whole gun ban argument here. I did find one. Let me see if I can pull it up. I think it was Tim Pool. Here we go. So this is just a couple minutes long. Let's see what Tim Pool was on tonight. Let's see what he has to say about it.
Saying if you're mentally ill, you can't have a gun. And that is the debate. However, consider this, my friends. Will liberals take this to the Supreme Court? If they do, the Supreme Court will expand gun rights because of liberal arguments. And if they don't, they abandon the transgender activism. I think this is a political move by the Trump admin, knowing they're putting Democrats in an impossible situation. So we're going to talk about that. And then we got, oh man, probably the craziest story. El Grito in Chicago. A celebration of Mexican independence has been canceled because Trump is sending in ICE. Let me just stress that again. They said they are concerned about the safety of the attendance of Mexican Independence Day ceremonies because of ICE.
So I did hear about that. Trump sending National Guard and ICE in like waves to Chicago.
Oh, man.
Well, I think we're going to be doing a lot more of these shows the coming weeks.
Dude, I'm so excited. Yeah. This is I'm so hyped. I can't wait to see what's happening. We got the Epstein stuff, we got the shooting stuff, we got because the trans people not having guns thing is downstream of the shooting, and we still haven't resolved the Epstein thing, and we still haven't figured out what they're trying to hide from us. And also, we've spent like no time on the facts that we just like used a drone strike to take out a fucking drug cartel boat.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I didn't know we weren't doing that already.
It's not enough. I want go take out the drug cartel mansions. We know where they are.
Yeah, like what? Like we could like the only thing.
I love when they're like, we could have a full scale war with what is it? Not Argentina. What's Ecuador? No, I can't remember the. Come on, Theo, help me out.
Mexico.
No, the other one, Moderna.
Oh, I want to say Alberta, but that's not right.
No, that's Canada. Anyway, yeah, I'm real fucking
Argentina.
tired.
Is that right?
I think so. We're gonna look like assholes today.
That's okay. It's fine.
But oh well.
Who gives a shit?
But everybody, like, they're really like, we don't execute drug dealers. We apprehend them and take them to law. Like, this is a terrorist organization, totally different. And we could have a full war with this little country over here. Like, oh no. Okay. I'm sure they're going to send it. They've got their whole country has about the population of Texas. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I wonder if, because what they were saying was this boat came from Venezuela and it was,
there it is, Venezuela.
And it was and the president was complicit.
Yeah.
Maduro, I think is the guy who was complicit in them. Like he and the cartels are in cahoots.
Because
and
they always have been. Yeah,
and it's like
he's literally not an elected official
in
that country.
Well, that's not good. Well, so it's like, why? So, this is not. People want us to treat this like a criminal organization when it's like it's a international threat to national security.
Yeah.
Right. So that's way more like an enemy combatant. Or like a terrorist organization than anything else. And that makes it super easy to deal with them if you categorize them that way. And by the way, like nobody else, everybody in South America hates these fucking guys.
Yes.
So it's like nobody's going to be mad.
The happiest country right now is El Salvador, where the guys just lock them all up, go directly to jail.
Just straight to jail.
They're fucking happy. They're
psyched
doing
about
great.
it. Yeah, because like I say, most people just want to live their fucking lives. They don't want to do all this. They don't want to deal with all this. They don't like violence in the street either. They don't like that. And it's the fact that somebody's actually doing something to deal with the problem. That's the thing. If you let too many leftists, because the leftists, they like to get rid of boundaries and they like to say, everybody just do whatever you want and just run around naked in nature and make art and everything's happy. And if you do that, then you're going to let the psychopaths off their leashes. And they're just going to they're going to go crazy. And you need to be able to do something. Somebody needs to put those people in boxes, Somebody needs to do that. And that's what makes, strongman leader types very appealing, is because there's too much chaos and you want somebody to bring some order and kind of bring the hammer down. And I also, you
can't function if you don't. Society doesn't work if you don't do that.
No. And we have this idea that because you could just be nice for infinity and that's going to fix everything. And that you can run a society on if everybody's just like nice and hangs out and hold hands. Like, I don't know, something about leftists. Their morality doesn't mature past the kindergarten level. If we all just like sit in a circle and share and sing the cleanup song together, then everything is going to be fine. That's not how it goes.
No.
That's not how it goes. Like, at some point, you need to bring in law and order because some people are not going to play by the rules. You need to have an answer for that. And if your answer is just like, let's all sit together and join hands, they're going to run over you.
Yeah. Every time a society has done that, they get taken over and they get subjugated. And that's when they're too stupid to understand. The people that's totally what you want to do. And by the way, I'm not gonna be a complete dictator and rule your every aspect of your life. Not at all.
Yeah.
So just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. And then that's what happens. The reason it bothers me is when the left overplays their hand like this, then people desire right-wing authoritarianism. And I always knew that was what was coming down the pike eventually. And
the pendulum, I mean, it always.
Yep. And that's.
We had it so good too. They didn't realize how, like in the 90s, how close we were to everything being just right at that sweet spot.
Yeah. And and it's like, I'm kind of at a point now where I think like racism might just be a permanent part of the human condition. Like we may just like, like it's just part of it. There's always going to be a little bit of that floating around. But if you live in a society with a lot of different people living next to each other, you can learn to get along. It's learnable, but it is going to be challenging.
It's not forcible. You can learn to get along, but part of the learning to get along is not going around and like locking up comedy writers for hate speech, for making having opinions and making jokes about it, or making naughty jokes about the thing that the differences you notice about your neighbors illegal, because making jokes about those differences is kind of the normal, what eventually brings everybody together. So you have, again, we've had this conversation. You got to let the assholes exist because they serve a fucking purpose.
Yes.
Eventually, everybody, that's why your group of friends growing up, if you're guys anyway, all you hear, if you've got a very integrated group of friends, it's just racist jokes all the time from 14 to 40. That's all you guys do.
That's what happens. And by the way, that used to be totally normal. And by the way, when we took that away, that was when we created the problems. And what's crazy is because the left thinks that the right is obsessed with race and is super racist. And just like we always say, what the left accuses you of doing is what they are doing. The left are the ones that are obsessed with race. You ever talk to a fucking leftist? Jesus Christ. You talk to them and like, what did you mean by that? What did you mean by that?
Oh, yeah. Constantly.
That's problematic. That's problematic. Are you saying that because of my race? Like every single fucking set, they're real. Here's the thing. I think
even the dudes, man.
Especially the dudes. Yeah.
Like have guy friends and they hear you joking around with your friends like, oh, well, that was really offensive to say to him.
Yes.
He offended? Are you offended? I'm offended for you.
Well, and it's what's crazy is like if you are the type of people who make jokes with your friend, you're way more likely. You see this, among comedians. You see this in the military. You see this among anywhere where it's like men of different backgrounds who are gathered together for common purpose, and humor is exchanged. The construction site, the car lot, wherever you want to put it, right? Those people are way more likely to value each other as individuals and to not make judgments about each other based on race. All of the snap judgments based on race are jokes. All of the real.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying in reality, they value each other as individuals, and it's leftists who are using broad racial stereotypes who are, I'm assuming because you are this color, you must also have this voting pattern.
To kind of piggyback on that point, those are the people that do that. The guys in the military, comedians, everything else that have that group of friends. Those friendships last. Most of those friendships are lifelong, if possible. Whereas all of these chronically offended people, they don't have any friends.
No,
they really don't.
No, because they suck to hang out with.
And you see this in like all these school videos popping up where these kids in the lunchroom, boys and girls, are getting into fights over race. They're, some assumed slight, and they walk over and start beating the other kids' ass. They don't have any of those. They're never going to have those kind of friendships.
No,
they're missing out on life because they've been conditioned to be chronic victims and be offended by fucking everything.
Yeah. And it's the reality is if you're going to be friends with people, then they're going to say things that bother you sometimes, and you kind of just have to learn to deal with it. And we all established we had pretty good rules, actually. We had pretty good rules. It's like, okay, this is probably too far, but like we kind of just figure it out. And there's no hard and fast rules. You got to figure it out, and it's gonna we got to have a good sense of what's socially acceptable. And then the left wildly overplayed their hand, and they did a lot of things that most people find socially unacceptable. Like, okay, when that trans woman was like jiggling her titties on the White House lawn for the cameras, or another big flashpoint moment, I always bring this up, was when that dude beat the shit out of that little Italian girl in the Olympics. Yeah, that was one. Just hit the factory reset like Grandpa used to do. Came right upside her head, right, and she just started crying, and people saw that and they associate the Democrats with that. right?
Yeah.
And so it was that, and it was all the stuff at pride parades, all the let me twerk my ass in front of your kid. Let's give a $1 bill to the child and have it put it in the drag queen's thong.
Right.
You know, all that stuff. When we started seeing
morbidly obese, unhealthy underwear models being told that they're beautiful, and you have to say they're beautiful and not laugh. Don't laugh.
Right. Don't make.
You can't even
jokes.
sticker.
Don't think. Don't think.
Nope.
Don't.
That is beautiful.
No, and you have to repeat exactly the prescribed. Or and if you don't repeat it, and if you question it, and if you point out, hey, this is different than it was before, then the whole all the social ostracism is going to rain down on your head. So you have to, and you should fear that. So,
because like you said, you can't those boundaries that the friend groups have are learned naturally.
Yeah.
Like you learn that by being in an integrated group of friends, and then you eventually, okay, maybe not go that far with that joke.
Yes.
Maybe not that, but nobody, nobody's getting their asses kicked over it, or maybe a little, because guys back then fought and it was fun, and then you're joked about it afterwards.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to install artificial boundaries that make no sense.
Yeah.
To where you have to accept the man beating up the woman in the Olympics because she's stunning and brave. These morbidly obese models are actually beautiful. There is nothing wrong with these the events at the Pride parades. They're called family friendly for a reason.
Yeah.
Bigot.
Yeah. Like just calling them family friendly, and then it's like, don't stand too close to the float, dear. You might get pissed on. Like that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You can't. But if you don't bring your kids to the Pride parade, then you're a bigot. And it's like I want my kids to this is what your liberal white women they'll be like, well, I want my kids to know that all different types of bodies are acceptable, and that all different types of nakedness are acceptable, and I don't want them to have shame, and I want them to be free, and I want them to get molested. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You want them to get molested. That's it. I'm telling you, like they just don't, because they don't understand that boundaries are necessary to prevent evil, because they have this idea of human nature that has not evolved since kindergarten, where if everybody hangs out and gets along and we all sing the cleanup song together at the end of the day, then everything can be good if we just share. And it's like some people are not going to do that. In fact, some people are going to think that you're stupid for thinking that way, and they're going to come to your country and they're going to take advantage of you, and they're going to take all your stuff. And some people are going to take advantage of your live and let live attitude to live out their perversion in public, and they're going to call you a bigot if you notice it, right? And that is going to create problems eventually. Eventually it's going to be bad. Eventually something bad is going to happen. And I'm not the asshole for pointing that out, that eventually, yes, something bad will happen if we keep this up.
And they know, the UK even knows their biggest threat to all of this, which is so fragile anyway, because it's so absurd, and everybody know, even the people involved know it's stupid. They know that none of this makes sense, but we have to go along with it. We're in too deep. So that's the reason they're going after, they're not going after, people making threats online or this and that. They're going after people making jokes, because mockery is their biggest threat to existence. Because that's all it takes, is people to make fun of this enough to know how absurd it is for it all to come crashing down. Because again, this way of life is not sustainable. It's not, there's no shelf life here.
Yeah. And eventually you either align yourself with reality or reality corrects you. That's one of those two things is going to happen.
And right now they could either let this all come crashing down through mockery and jokes and just natural people just realizing that this is lame and retarded, or they're going to get the other end of the stick, which is nobody wants that. But they're breeding it. They're creating it, especially with these younger guys that are seeing this shit. They've grew up with it and they've had fucking enough.
Yeah.
And they're going to get a very, very overt, like you were saying, I can't remember if it was on one of your shows. It may have been on one of these. when they were trying to say, well, all of these men don't approve of Trump's immigration policy. Yeah, because they want them all. Think he's not doing enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there'll be guys right now that say, "Oh, Trump's bombing cartel things." They're going to be like, "Bomb the whole countries."
Yes. I'm telling you, dude.
That's a pretty scary way to think.
Yes, and it's super common. Like there's like people are like, "Oh, well, Trump is this big anti-immigration extremist." And I'm like, "Guys, for a lot of these people on the far right and the real far right, not Trump. Trump is not far right.
No.
They think Trump is a pussy. They think that if he were really serious about it, he wouldn't be deporting them. He'd be putting them in camps." And they mean it. They're not kidding when they say that. They mean that. They mean that. They don't care if we commit atrocities against these people. They don't care. And in fact, they actually encourage it. In fact, and this is true, some of them want to be first in line when the atrocities happen because they want to help. Right? And I'm telling you, that is the kind of resentment that the left has created. And it's not a nice thing to say. And if you try to say this this happened to Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson tried to say this back in like 2015. Some leftist was arguing with him, but he's like, bro, if you keep pushing this, you're going to unleash something really ugly from the far right. And they were like, is that a threat? And it's like, no, you fucking retard. I'm trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, he's threatening me. It's like, shut the.
Maybe you should have just let the assholes telling jokes solve all the problems. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Had this whole thing squared away.
Right. We were literally keeping civilization going. And they took it away from us.
Yeah, because, you get everybody, that one asshole goes too far, everybody yells at him, and then they all get in a lock.
Because that's the one thing we've really done away with is like integrated friend groups. I think integrated friend groups is actually the key to peace in our time.
And I think that's why they really tried to segregate us, especially the younger generations here over the last several years. Promoting separate graduations, separate dorms, separate this, separate that. And they would do it under the under this whole thing of like, oh, we just want a safe space for this group or that group. And no, you just want to keep them away from everybody else. And that's not a good thing.
No, what you want to do is create an echo chamber so that you can keep them isolated and mired in wokeness, and you can train them to view themselves as victims, and then they'll be lifetime leftists, and they will be dependent on the government for the rest of their lives for everything, and they will believe that they could not create a livable existence for themselves. They could not create a life worth living unless a government puts a thumb on the scale for them. That's what they want you to believe, and that's just not true. That's not true for anybody. It's not true for anybody. You can. They want desperately for you to believe that, because if you believe that, then they can use that to manipulate
and they can control you.
And that's all there, because if everything you have comes from the government, then they get to call the shots.
Yep, 100%. Oh man, well, we've had a good one tonight. We went about an hour and a half. It's late. I got to go to work in the morning.
Absolutely.
But I want to keep these going. Well, I'm thinking Thursday nights have worked pretty well.
Yeah, Thursday's pretty good.
Maybe we'll start a little earlier if we can get one off the ground next week. That might make it easier to go a little longer, give it a little more prep time too.
No, agreed.
But we're going to wrap it up here. Theo, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, all right. So my name is Theo Snodgrass. I'm a comedian and podcaster in Las Vegas, Nevada. I host a show called Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass, 11 a.m. Pacific time every Saturday. I also host a show called Theocracy. That's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10:30 Pacific time. So go ahead and sub to my YouTube channel. That's how you can keep track of all that. You'll see all my cool comedy videos. Want to see me doing live comedy? I'm going to be at Laughs Vegas Laughs Las Vegas on the 9th of this month, and I'm going to be at Buck's Tavern on the 10th. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Go ahead and check me out doing some live comedy. I also appear on this show, and I appear on the Rogues Gallery on Fridays. And I think I'm playing D&D this Sunday with our good friend Full Metal Nate. And I'm also I'm on our good friend Vagabond, friend of the channel, the Runaway Vagabond. I'm on his show. I swear it's not hentai. So that's pretty exciting. Got a lot of stuff. Those are all the fun places you can check me out. If I'm forgetting anybody, I'll get you next time.
There we go. Cool. And I'm Iron Oxide. This is my channel. Sub to this one over on YouTube and Rumble. I appreciate it. Follow me on X if you want to know where to find me. I'm on a lot of other people's shows as well, like Cavecast with Sammy 3 Preak, Touchgrass with Theo Snodgrass, among many others. I'll be over on Nate's. If I am missing any, I apologize. It is getting late though. And we'll have the Rogues Gallery tomorrow at 5:35 p.m. PST. Looking forward to seeing you there. Everybody, have a good night.